good morning, everybody. Please keep in mind that um, there will be agreements and disagreements, so please feel free to voice your opinion when it comes to deciding on decisions on the agenda that is at hand. So who's got the agenda? Who's got it?
I believe Dion usually shares that. Dion, are you able to share?
As we work through transitioning post James. Yeah, let me look for it. I don't typically share it, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, let me find it. Hold on.
My bad. I thought you did. Yeah, so I guess while we work that out, for anybody who doesn't know yet, there's a James-sized elephant in the room, and that's that he's not here. James accepted a position with Oregon Employment Department, and his last day was Friday, so he's not going to be with us leading these meetings anymore. I'm going to be leading the meeting this week, and we'll have more to share about who will be leading it ongoing as we continue throughout the months. But this nothing is happening to this committee or anything. We just have a little bit of shakeup on the stateside leadership part of it. We're all very happy for James and sad that he's not here.
Deanna, are you having a hard time getting the agenda up?
Yeah, I'm having to go through. I missed some time last week, so I have a bunch of unread emails. I'm looking for it from last week. Brandy,
Oh,
I think you typically send it out or have it. By chance, are you able to share?
Yeah, I was looking for it right now. Give me just a second.
okay, we can get started on the icebreaker. The icebreaker for this week, I believe, was what essentially what is a bucket list item that you have? Like, what is, I forget, George, exactly how you worded this, but like, what is one big thing you want to do or accomplish in your life? What is your favorite bucket list item that you have?
Yeah, that was it. That was it. So did you want to start out, Andrew?
Yeah, sure. I'll start out. Bucket list item, I think would, uh, I would love to see a baseball game at all 30 different Major League Baseball stadiums. So I've been lucky to go to a chunk of them, probably about 10, but I got a lot left to do. So that'd be fun to do. And with that comes, traveling all around the US, which is fun. So I will go ahead and I'll pass it off to you, George.
Uh, don't forget to tell people where you're from.
Sorry. Andrew Demaray, he, him, his. I am the senior business analyst for the One Online portal.
My name's George. I'm one of the co-chairs with Maria. And one of the things on the bucket list I would like to achieve in my lifetime is to go on an international trip to Ireland or Netherlands that I've never been to before, to see the wonderful part of the world over there and people, and see how different they are than they are over here. So I will hand it off to Maria.
Hello, good morning. Happy Monday. Maria Park, Senior Program Manager at Asian Health and Service Center. And so sad James is not here, but congrats to him and good to see everyone here. Gosh, I was thinking like road trip around the US or just traveling to different countries like Japan or Europe. Um, I've heard Turkey is really beautiful too, but yeah, traveling. I'm going to pass it to, let's see, Inje.
Hi, Inje Community Program Coordinator with the Asian Health and Service Center. My bucket list would be my daughter travel for work. So just, follow her for like couple years and traveling the whole world with her. Thank you. I will pass on to Susan.
Susan Garcia. I'm a community partner with the Community Health Centers of Lane County, And probably just to be debt-free would be my dream. Let's see, pass it to Veronica.
Good morning, Veronica Kritsky, Senior Business Analyst for the Oregon One mobile app. I have to jump on the traveling bandwagon. I want to travel the whole world, and including all the 50 United States. I think I've been to at least 20 states, so I'm on my way. For international, though, I've always wanted to go to like Greece or Croatia. But I also want to go back and visit my home country of Ukraine and take my son back there one day as well, so we can see where our roots are from and learn more about the culture. Passing it on to Rocio.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so Rocio Alvarado and with the AP technical team. My bucket list item would be, hmm, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and do the traveling as well. I actually want to do all the Pueblo Mágicos in Mexico, so that's one of them. Um, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Judith.
Yikes. Okay. Alrighty then. I've had a very full life. I had my 80th birthday yesterday, and I have been so graced to be able to fly in the Goodyear blimp, but I would like to travel the train across the United States into Canada all the way to Nova Scotia, where my father's roots are before he came from Scotland. And that's it.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. And let's see, have we done Maria yet?
Yes.
Okay. How about Susan Garcia?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. All righty then. Let's see. Dion? Dion looks like he might be off.
No, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay.
Dion Destin, he, him, and I'm the executive support for our sponsor, Jillian Johnson, with the state. So for me, the bucket list, I love all of these. I had to like be realistic because I always feel like the bucket list is supposed to be something that's actually like attainable at some point. But man, would I love to be in the Vatican Library just to snoop around for a little bit. But since I probably won't get that chance, I'll stick with other historical things. Really love Athens, Greece, and Rome, Italy. So I'd say those are my big ones. Let's see. And I apologize, I'm still trying to pull up the slideshow, so I'm not sure who hasn't gone.
Well, there's Brandy Arthur, Brandy Storm.
Let's go with Brandy Arthur. That was the first one you said. Thanks.
Good morning, Brandy Arthur, OS2 Central Coordinations. So there's lots of bucket list items on my list, but the one that's mostly out of my control is I would love to see the Mariners go to the World Series, and I'd like to see it in person. That would be fantastic. And maybe before I'm 90, that will happen. Maybe.
Yeah.
Brandy, you want to pick
Sorry,
something?
and I will pass it to, I think Brandy put her answer in chat. And is there anyone else that hasn't gone?
Yeah, there's Sil Colio, and there's
Yeah, Celsiana. I am from South Coast Early Learning Hub. We're located in Coos Bay, the Bay of Coos, and my bucket list item is to go snorkeling with orca in Norway. So,
wow.
Yeah. And I will pass it on to, is it Azucena? Is that how you say it?
Yep. Azucena. Yes, thank you. Azucena Moreno, she, her, ella pronouns. I am the Equity and Engagement Strategy Manager, previously managing or the boss for James, who is not here. Sad face.
Was that your fault?
No, it's his fault. I completely blame him. He just wants to look for bigger and better things. Who does that?
Oh, yes.
My bucket list item, which I am hoping to cross out this summer, I want to see a World Cup game. So I do plan on, now that they're on this side of the ocean, I do plan on going to Mexico City to see Mexico play in Azteca Stadium. So I will be there, unless the tickets that I purchased are fake, and then I'm going to be really, really upset. And are we still missing Brandy Strom?
Vixen, have you gone?
Hi everyone. I put mine in the chat earlier, but Brandy Strom with Maslow Project. I'm the team lead over here in Josephine County, Grants Pass, and I want to travel to Europe. Was what I wanted to do.
There's Vixen, there's Cynia. Please go first.
I can go. I am Vixen Wex, and I work for Northeast Oregon Network Neon in Wallowa County, and I'm the outreach outreach and CHW for them. And I think, I don't know, all of your guys just sound so great. But I think that I really want to go to New Zealand because that's something my husband's really wanted to do. And he has taken up scuba diving. And so there's someplace there, like off their coast or something, that you scuba dive. And I want to watch him. I have no intention on getting in the water. So, well, I mean, I don't mind getting in the water, but I'm not going under the water. I don't want to know what's under there. So, Christy, have you gone?
No, not yet. Thank you. My name is Christy Reese. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director at Fact Oregon. And mine is simple, and that is to learn Spanish in the next about year and a half, especially because I have a nephew who has a partner who is from Spain. And now I don't see any names, and so I'm not sure who still needs to go.
Sydney needs to go next.
Yes, Sydney Borchers with Neighbor Impact Childcare Resources in Central Oregon. I work for the Baby Promise team. My bucket list items are mostly also travel based. New Zealand is definitely up there as well. I would love to go like all over Asia, like Norway as well, Portugal. I could go on forever, but definitely would like to knock some of those off the list. And I
Okay.
think in the last, yeah.
Yep. So guys, we have a good agenda today, and I'm going to try to pack everything in it. So I'm going to hand it off to Andrew, and it's in your court, Andrew.
Thanks, George. Awesome. So recapping the upcoming builds, request 77. This one we had broken into two different parts. So the first part of it went in back in October. This was changing the page breaks and how some of the buttons on the household information screen are organized. That's in the system. Then the second part of that was changing some of the help text and text options for the is individual living with the head of household, yes, no, part-time, temporarily away. So we had approved from this committee to take that one forward. We run into a bit of issue getting that approved through policy. So my goal is we have some ideas of how to rework that and make it a little simpler. The issue that policy had was that they felt throwing more text on screen, even if it's just the additional help text, would make it more confusing. So next month we'll bring this one back with a new proposal to clean that up a little bit and just run it by y'all before we bring it back to policy. So the next one here is request 81, creating a user-friendly password reset link sent in the email, scheduled for the April 8th build. So that would have went in last week. Request 82, links to learn about programs on the Let's Get Started page. This is scheduled for the May 13th build, and I did actually see it when I was in their testing environment last week. It looks good. I think users will be happy with what we did to clean up the Let's Get Started page. Go to the next slide. Thank you. Request 88. Update one system with examples of proof of medical expenses on a couple of different screens. Next steps, miscellaneous docs, and expense summary. That's scheduled for the April 8th build, so that would have went in last week. Request 95, implement a system change where successful password resets will automatically re-enable previously disabled accounts. That's going in May 13th. Request 89, rewrite educational expense questions in the applicant portal to the ONE Online portal to indicate the request is for that specific academic year. Also going in for the May 13th build. Request 100, expand the number of characters in the response field to the question asking for a description of the user's disability condition. It's on our general demographic, or our disability demographic screen, excuse me. That is scheduled for the May 13th build as well. And then request 110, update unearned income details to differentiate various school funding grants, 529 plans, scholarships, etc., and to clarify non-Title IV funding. That is scheduled for July 15th. So now we come to discuss our new requests for this month. I believe 114 Veronica started discussing in our last meeting, but we do still have some to wrap up, some discussion to wrap that one up. So I'll hand it over to Veronica.
Thank you, Andrew. Is somebody going to share the briefing sheet?
I've got it. If nobody else does, I can pop it up.
I have it as well, so I'll just screen share since I'll be talking through it.
Cool. Thank you.
So I think you guys are seeing mine. Okay.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. All right, so we did touch on this last month. We didn't go into a whole lot of depth, so I will start with reviewing this one. So request 114, enable ONE users to switch account roles from their dashboard. And the second part to this is deactivating authorized representative roles within their ONE Online accounts. So how the system is functioning right now is individuals, so users with two dual roles, individual and individual authorized representative. So what that means is if I have my own case, my own benefits for my household with ODHS, I use my individual account to access and manage that. And if I'm managing like Andrew's benefits for some reason as his authorized representative, then I would need to have that authorized representative role set up in my account so I can also view the person's benefits that I am authorized representative for. So right now, when users log into their account, if they are set up to have their account function with both roles, they see a screen where they choose which role that they want to log in with. And they have no way of switching between roles without completely logging out of their account and then logging back in and changing or selecting the role that they want to view. So this request is proposing to add a function within the account so that users can seamlessly switch between their account roles without having to log back in and out of their accounts. So that's part one. Any questions on that before I go over part two?
Yeah, does this mean that they can go onto an account and they can be in their account and switch over without having to log out and then log back in, right?
That's what this request is for. Currently, they don't have that functionality.
Okay, so we'll have that function now. It gets up and going.
And then part 2 of this request is giving authorized representatives the ability to remove that authorized representative role from their account. We've come across callers who are no longer ARs for whoever benefits they were managing, and they don't want that dual role because there's extra steps like the multi-factor authentication that they need to access their account, and they don't want the extra steps of having to choose which account roles they need to or they want to view if they're no longer needing that. So the part 2 of this request is asking to add an ability for authorized representatives to remove that dual role from their accounts if they no longer want it. If there's no questions with that, I am going to scroll down to the screenshots. So this is what their current settings looks like. This is for individual accounts. And this is what the current settings looks like for an authorized representative account. And this is the dashboard with the new button that we are proposing to add for them to switch between roles without logging in and out of their account. And then for part 2, this is an edited mock-up of the settings in the authorized representatives account. So we still have that button here. And then the other change is I've added this last sentence down below here that says, to turn off the authorized representative role, please click turn off authorized representative role. And then they'll follow the steps from there to deactivate that dual role from their account. I'm going to stop here for questions and any discussions that the group has.
One question I want to ask, and this is George. How will it recognize, if I want to do this, how will it recognize from the very beginning that I wanted to be a authorized representative at first?
That's a step that users have to take to initially set up that dual role. And once that's set up, the system knows that they are signed up for both roles.
Do I got to fill anything out when I'm online?
So from the, this is the current individual account settings screen. And down here at the bottom, there's this section here that says you currently have an individual role. If you would like to apply on behalf of someone not in your household, you can add the authorized representative role by clicking here. So when they click here, they go through the steps on adding that role to their account. Now this is just account settings. This does not automatically link users to somebody else's case. They still have to follow the normal process of filling out the MSC 231 form and having a worker link their case information to the AR.
Okay. Does anybody want to ask her questions? Now would be the time.
So you're saying I just don't want to have this on my one account. I would still be the authorized representative for the person.
So you're referring to part 2 of removing the authorized representative role?
Uh-huh.
Removing the role would only remove it from their account settings. It would not remove the authorized representative from the case. They would have to take additional steps and request that to be removed with eligibility if that's what they want.
Veronica, is there some kind of messaging about what you just said when they request to remove that in their ONE account?
We haven't worked out what the process is gonna like, what all they will have to click or go through to request that dual role to be inactivated. But I think it's a good point that we would want to add, like in the pop-up or whatever screen they see next, that if they haven't yet removed their authorized rep role from the case, that they will need to work with eligibility on that if they need to.
Right. So like if maybe in the report change section, they're able to kind of request to not be a authorized representative. Is that
I
a
don't
way
think
that
they have the ability to
Okay.
remove themselves as AR from their online account. Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have to work with eligibility to go through that. They can add themselves, but I don't think they can remove them.
Okay.
Yep.
There is another question that I came up with. If they are to say go into the state office and fill out the paperwork, could there be anything said on the paperwork about being an AR? And then once they input the information, your system could recognize being an AR?
So if they started the process with filling out an MSC 231 form at their local office and they've submitted that, the workers are linking the authorized rep information to that case. So they would already be linked. Like if they then later go set up their ONE online account, that information would already be linked and showing for them.
Okay, and so later down the line, if they decide to change their mind, then they can change it online, right?
The only thing they can change through their account is to disable that dual role within their account. But if they want to fully be removed off of the case itself, they would have to work with eligibility on that.
Okay.
Is there any way of not putting that obstacle in people's way of having to reach out to eligibility to be removed from being an authorized representative?
So I don't know the policy reason behind why they don't currently have that ability to report that change on their end. I don't know if Andrew, you have more details on that.
I don't, but yeah, it's right now the way the screen's set up, there's no no ability to add like an end date of like when that representative relationship ended. So we would have to look at doing that, but I don't know the history about why it was built the way that it is currently.
Okay, is there any more questions for him? Guys?
Question from Maria, what are or are there any risks for switch role in ONE? I don't think there are any risks. They would have already been set up as the authorized rep role to have that functionality. So it would just save the user a couple of steps from logging out of their account and then back in with the second role that they want to view.
George, I have a question. This is Judy.
Go ahead.
This is Judy Richards, and I'm wondering how long does this process take for this person to be removed from the account?
So to remove the individual role from the account itself, it would just be a couple of clicks. To be removed as AR from the case, they would just have to speak with an eligibility worker.
Actually, Veronica, I might have been mistaken. So I think it's just me not understanding the way this screen is designed. So I'm looking closer into the design now to confirm. So on the worker side, you have to like add an end date and report it that way. But it does look like we have the ability, like the user has the ability when they get back to this screen after having an existed one to just delete the representative. There's like an X icon that usually you're only able to delete things like in the session that you added them, but it does seem like this allows them to do that. What I'm unclear on, and we can follow up and like test this and get more information about how it actually works. I don't know if there's additional follow-up needed by a worker after that, or if it does just take that action from the user and completely remove them from the case, or if there's any sort of, to answer the question that was just posed, if there's any sort of like processing time behind that. So we can get more information.
Okay.
Andrew, that's not from like this screen, that's from like the reported change flow or from the authorized rep tab on the top of their dashboard.
Correct. Yeah. That's like once they're in the actual authorized representative information screen.
Okay, so this screen up top here.
Any more questions?
Is there a reason that you went with the button on the top right? Because usually, I mean, if you have another case, it's on the left and it says view my other cases. It could say view the cases I'm an authorized rep for. I don't know if people will be looking up there.
There's no specific reason. We are open for discussion on where you guys want that. So for reference for others, you're talking about the buttons. There's a button here or an option here to view other cases if an individual has multiple cases they're associated with.
Any more questions before we go on? Okay. We can go on.
So do we want to discuss the first part of this request in which is the switch roles button? Sounds like Susan suggested that we added to the left action panel here. What are the group's thoughts on that? Or are there any other ideas?
I think if you put it right where the other buttons are, it'd be more convenient for people.
I agree.
That way they're not having to search for it, especially with the disability.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Frank. I was just thinking, like, do we need to clarify what switch roles even means?
Yeah,
for them when they're in there.
I'd have to think through that, but if they have dual roles set up, they should be aware. Because like right now they are choosing which role they want to use when they log in. Do you have a different verbiage suggestion for the button?
I'll have to think about it, but if there was something that maybe let that little question mark pop up to show what that means. Oh, change view or change like account.
I wonder if we could make it dynamic and if they're logged into their individual role, make the button say switch to authorized representative role and vice versa.
So only people who have dual roles will have that button, or that button will display for everyone?
It would display only for individuals with dual roles. They'll also still have that screen when they first log in where they choose which account role they want to see. So if I log in and I choose AR initially, I would then see a button that says switch to individual role on my dashboard.
Okay, that makes more sense. I never seen that before, so it was hard to kind of imagine. Thank you.
For someone that is blind, is there a program that would go with this to tell them that's where the button is?
Yep, I think JAWS is the more popular one that users use, and it would just function the way it does with all the other functions in the system.
Veronica, sorry, I'm going to try to go back. So let's say that the authorized representative wants to access whoever they're representing. They want to go into that client's account and access their information or help to update. But let's say they also have their own account. So are you saying like the authorized representative, they have their own account, they also have access to whoever they're representing's account, and then they would be able to kind of switch accounts in the one system, like when they want to access either one of the accounts? Is that what it is?
Yep, it's exactly that. We don't want users creating duplicate accounts we don't want separate accounts for authorized rep roles and a separate account for their personal benefits. So it should all be under one account. We just need an easier way for them to switch between the types of roles that they want to view.
Okay.
Maria, it would be just simpler this way than to try to do it the other way and make it more difficult.
I also see some verbiage suggestion from Silciona in the chat, suggesting maybe switch or change view instead of switch roles. I guess we'll want a vote on that. Do we want to see if Deloitte can do the dynamic view where we put like switch to individual account or authorized rep, or do we want to keep the button verbiage the same and say switch view or change view?
So you're asking for a vote?
Mm-hmm. I see Susan Murcios Silciona saying dynamic in the chat.
I'll go with dynamic do.
Maria, yeah, we can bring more mock-ups if the group wants into the next meeting, except I will be on vacation in the next meeting. But I will send mock-ups along and have that ready for you guys.
So who hasn't voted yet? So have we all voted yet?
I'm seeing 6 dynamics in the chat plus you, George, so that's 7. Just got an 8th one, 9.
I vote for dynamics. This is Judy.
Okay. Did we miss anybody yet? Going. Susan, did you want it too? Yeah, Susan said yeah. And Brandy, Storm, and what about the other Brandy? Brandy? Yep. It looks like it's all going into the dynamic area, Veronica.
Awesome. I'm taking a note to take that action item. And have that ready for you guys for the May meeting.
Okay.
Anything else that the group wanted to discuss for the dual role part of this request, or are we ready to move on to the second part? I see something from Andrew. So for someone currently in the individual view, their button would display as switch to authorized representative view. For someone currently in the AR view, it would display as switch to individual view.
Yeah, I put that in there in hopes of maybe, like, I know that Maria had requested a visual. We can absolutely honor that if we don't feel comfortable moving this forward. But I was, thinking maybe if we could type it out, it would kind of clarify like what we're going for here. If folks don't want to see a visual, we can absolutely bring it back next month. Um, but yeah, if folks feel good with just the explanation there, maybe we could move it forward this month with a vote.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I would prefer us doing a vote. That way it's already done and over with.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot, Maria, but this was your ask, so I don't want to completely override you here. If you still feel like you want to see a visual of it, we can absolutely do that.
I'm okay with the dynamic and like just what you put in there in chat, Andrew. Yeah. I mean, I understand that this feature would be really helpful for others representatives to just easily access and switch their roles to, get into the account. I guess I was still just kind of concerned about if there's any risks, but sounds like no. Yeah.
And then Susan, to your question, do we need to see if they can do it first? I'm, you know, nothing's for sure, but I would say like 90% confident that they could do this. 99, 95% confident. We've asked for dynamic stuff before on buttons. Like one was when we redid the household information screen, we have those buttons dynamically display in real time, like the person's name, their age on the actual button there. So I don't see why they would have difficulty doing that with here based on the role the person's currently logged in for. But I guess, my thought there is if for some reason they can't, we could always, bring it back next month and talk about it there. But if they can, we could put that request forward now. We'll get a date kind of logged for this item, and it'll, I think, go in the system earlier that way.
Soon you can decide on the location of the button.
I think we do, yeah. If people are feeling strongly about that, not being in the upper right, we could discuss where else to put it.
Yeah, I think I heard a stronger preference to put it in the left panel here, but let's take a vote on that as well. Under my dashboard, you mean a new button directly?
Yeah, or just yeah, below it so it's visible.
Okay. I'm going to type out the options in the chat. So option 1.
And for whatever you guys decide, I will vote the same way you guys will on this one.
Okay, so I've heard 3 options so far, and I just posted them in chat.
One's on the right corner under my dashboard below actions. Okay. Looks like they're all in underneath that corner there. What they're seeking.
So I see 2 votes for below action so far, 1 vote for under my dashboard. Anybody else want to vote?
Christy, what did you mean?
I think, you know, whatever the group decides, I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't have a preference one way or the other.
And I agree. This is Judy.
Yeah, looks like we're all in agreement, Veronica.
Yeah, so it looks like below actions is the winner here. I'm seeing 5 votes for that and 2 votes for under my dashboard. Is anybody still thinking about it, or are we calling it? Just want to make sure everybody has time to process.
What about Brandy Storm and Brandy Arthur?
Brandy, as said, below actions. And we don't see a vote in chat from Brandy A.
So all those buttons under actions are referring to this case number, right? So if they want to switch role, that means they are going to the different case number, right? Okay.
That's
Okay.
a good call out.
Because then I think that if we put it under actions, that kind of goes little, yeah, I'm trying to think.
Hey, Brandy Arthur just agreed. Whatever we agree with.
So yeah, I think NJ and Susan are kind of onto something here. If I can give my opinion on it, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to share a picture in this chat. Let me try and see if it lets me. So there's a link when there's multiple cases, and some of the CPs here might be familiar with this. When there are multiple cases associated to an individual, there's a link that appears directly under the case number that says view my other cases. And yeah, I apologize. It's not letting me share a picture, so I might steal the screen share real quick, Veronica, from you.
Yep, go for it. Do I need to stop? Yep, stop sharing. Okay.
Okay. So this is what, let me zoom in a little bit here. So on this screenshot here, this mock-up underneath case number, you can see this link that says view my other cases. Inja and Susan, is this what you're talking about when you're saying kind of put it up near that?
Up where? Okay, there I can see
Sorry,
it.
on the left-hand side, like right under the case number, there's a blue link that says view my other cases.
So what's difference between view my other case and the switch role?
So view my other cases would be for like an individual that had multiple cases where they were a member of. So like say they have a SNAP case with, you know, they're on one SNAP case and they have a separate medical case for whatever reason, or a separate ERDC or TANF case for whatever reason. They would be able to click that link and then view what other cases that they're active on. And so the button for switching roles would be more to like, you know, this is the case that I'm viewing. That's my individual case. Switching my role would bring me to the case that I'm an authorized representative on.
Okay. Okay.
But
yes, okay.
So I think
Then,
this is what I thought you guys were kind of getting at. Maybe I made some assumptions there, but I could see it going under that section as well, rather than with the rest of this case actions that I think NJ, as you mentioned, is more specific to the case that you're looking at right now.
I think it might get a little more confusing if we had it under case number. So like when they're in their account and then they can go to my other cases to see their other cases, but when they're in the person that they're representing's account, maybe they would see that via my other cases in there too, but then they would also see then like another button there that says like switch roles.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I will keep it as under my dashboard. Thank you.
Now we got votes going back the other way.
Sorry, I hope I didn't just make this way more complicated. I can't see the chat anymore. Give me just a second.
No, I think it makes sense because it sets it apart from all of the other buttons under actions.
There's a question in chat asking if it's possible to see what it looks like if you click on view my other cases.
Yes, give me just a second. If I can remember what that screen's called.
Just so you know, Andrew, it was Dion that asked that question for the more detail.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if maybe it gave an option for the group to see what it would look like once they click that button, if it would differentiate, the AR versus their own case, just to kind of help with the thoughts for people.
Yeah, so this is when you click that screen that button. But I want to be clear, like this is not part of the switching roles. This is just specifically when you're in your individual role view and you have multiple cases that you're associated to.
Dion, how are we on time?
We're at 11:30. We are scheduled for break about now. So maybe if we're able to wrap up this work item, we can go to break and then come back and look at the other new work item.
Good idea.
Because I want to make sure we don't get behind. Okay, why don't we just go ahead and take a break?
But didn't we just want to finish the work item before we went on break, George? We're almost done.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're still voting on the placement of the button. Let me go back and count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 for under, 5 for under my dashboard.
So it sounds like it's going back the other direction.
Yeah, I think we've eliminated number 3 that I originally sent below actions.
Okay. So now we're talking about, if you can still see my screen, I think these two red boxes that I drew, either beneath my dashboard or beneath case number.
Everybody's saying dashboard now.
Well, I'll vote with whatever everybody else wants, because this is not something that I feel that I have enough knowledge about to be able to decide if it's going to be an interruption to anybody.
And I'll vote the same. George.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do see another request from Maria to see more examples next time. So I'll take it back. So to wrap up we are changing the wording, verbiage of the button to be dynamic. And then the mock-ups you guys want to see, is it for the two options that Andrew was just screen sharing? So one mock-up for under my dashboard and one mock-up for under case number.
Yes.
Any other mock-ups? Going once, going twice.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're ready for break.
All right.
So let's go with, what do we normally go, Dion? Is it a 15-minute break?
Yeah.
10 minutes, 10 minutes.
10. Okay, let's go for 10. So it's 11:33. Let's go with 11:43, right?
Let's say 11:44, just because I think it's about to switch over here.
All right. I see you all back at 11:44.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Now back to our decision making. Request 125.
Yep, we have one more request to go over today, and that's request 125. So this came up in I think 2 or 3 meetings ago, when we were kind of talking about the request that was approved to increase the character count on our disability demographics screen on the open text question field there. So this one is a proposal that's a change that will allow users to see how many characters they've typed in open text fields. While some fields currently display the maximum allowable character count, they don't show how many characters have been entered. So it leaves some guessing up to the user about how many characters that they need to enter. Adding a live character, or how many they have left to enter. Adding a live character count will help users understand how much space they have left to type. So we're proposing this change to any field with a character count of 200 or greater. We settled on that because there's really there's a lot of smaller open text fields for things like, if you don't if you don't have an option from the list of available genders that you would like to choose, or that represents you, there's an option for describe your gender in the way that represents you. I don't remember the exact text for that one, but those we're expecting smaller answers, and the way that it's limited on screen is pretty visible to the user, so there's less chance of them typing out something super long and kind of getting stuck, having to like delete and reword. So that's why we settled on anything greater than 200. So here is some examples of them. So this top one is that disability demographics one that we had talked about a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, rather, sorry. And what it would show looks like this essentially. So that it's a 250 character limit. When nothing is entered there, it will start as a 0 out of 250 characters. As the user types in information here, it will count up, showing how much space they have left there. There's also some other examples on the employability screening screen. There is a number of 500 max character fields. And as mentioned, it currently shows that there's a 500 character max, but it doesn't show what's been typed there. So we would add that there as well. This is from the document upload screen, this image on the right-hand side. It's a 255 character max to add a note to the document that you're uploading. And then this was newly added with some of the changes we did in the recent CR that changed how changes are reported in the online portal. If someone can't determine the specific kind of income they're trying to report, they have a 200 character limit that they can enter here. And so again, what we are not proposing in this update are updating smaller open text fields with lower character limits of less than 200. Fields like these are commonly part of screens like contact information, such as address lines or email addresses, which follow a generally standard format. So, we've provided in these open text fields like enough space to enter what would, be considered a normal length address and could capture any sort of address. So we don't expect addresses to really go beyond a certain limit. And it's not really asking, it's asking for something specific there. Same with the email address. And then here's kind of the example I gave at the top. Like there's many open text fields throughout the portal, which we do expect data to be more direct or to fit a standardized length as opposed to some of the larger open-ended text fields. So we're not proposing to update any of these with the character count. Things like, explaining in an open field text what the individual sex is, what their Medicare ID number is. Those should all be a fairly standard length. Describing, what the details of their ethnicity are, or what school. This one actually, this education enrollment section here is going to change with another CR that's coming up, and we're not going to actually be asking for, we're going to give an option to like search for the actual school name. So this should kind of be resolved with that anyway. But if the user can't find their school in the list from the National Clearinghouse, they would still have an open text field. So again, we would expect school names to be pretty direct about the information that's being put in there. So that's really it. We're, just to recap again, we're proposing specifically for open text fields with 200 or more characters, we would add that character counter. So I'll stop there if anyone has any questions about this.
I have a rather dumb question, but you have to remember, I'm a consumer. When you're talking about schools attended, now, are we talking about college or are we talking about high school? And why would that make any difference?
Not a dumb question, and it could be talking about any. So it's that is a small section of a screen that it's lacking some context. So on that screen, you could put anything from elementary school all the way to like a doctorate degree. It really depends on some of the previous answers. So like this, I think you can see the first answer here. Education institution type, depending on what that was answered, it could be, like I said, an elementary school all the way to like a postgraduate degree. And the reason we ask for that information is for a couple different reasons. For like school hours, for ERDC, because we can cover childcare for the time that someone's in school. We ask for the SNAP program for like the ABOD work requirements and work registrant requirements. If someone's in higher education, they may be exempt from those. And then for cash assistance, that stuff can work towards completing the jobs opportunities program, which is part of participating in TANF. So there's a lot of different reasons that we would ask those questions.
Well, it's all well and good, except that I could put in there that I went to Harvard. And would that be something that you would need to have proof of? I mean, is this just something I can just throw up there and put in there? Or is this something that is really, really important?
So I think it's less about so I think we do ask, to make sure that the person is attesting to something that is true. I don't think we typically require that someone verifies specifically what school that they're enrolled in, unless maybe it was questionable for some reason. A lot of times, like things that we can accept a client statement for, we accept client statement unless it's questionable. So if you were claiming that you were enrolled in Harvard and taking classes at Harvard, and that's why you were trying to be exempted from the SNAP work search programs, that, again, I think it matters if what you said was questionable. If we don't find it questionable, we would probably take your information. But I think in collecting all of this information, it helps us do our due diligence that we're asking the right questions about what you're attesting to,
Okay. Okay. I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Andrew, that one thing, if you move it downward, no, the other way.
Sorry.
Keep going. Right there. When you've got to download JP JPEG and stuff here under browse, is that going to use up the 255 characters, or is that separate?
No, that's a separate thing. So that the browse when you're those are the supported file types that you could upload. What it's looking for there is kind of below that, the 6 MB maximum. So as long as it fits within that, that's a separate thing. We'll upload that file, and then this comment field is for you to explain, like, this is my 2025 tax return that represents my self-employment for this business that I own, or these are my pay stubs from the month of March, February, and January. Or if it could be anything really, but it's meant to provide an opportunity for the user to explain the documents that they've uploaded if needed.
Well, I feel comfortable now knowing that putting the JPEG or whatever up here in the browse won't be taken up to 255 characters.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so do we need a vote on this?
Yeah, if no one else has any questions, let's go ahead and have a vote.
Guys, we need to vote on this because Vixen will be taken off here at 12. So what would you like to have done? Susan?
Sorry, what is the question? Or what are we voting?
I think we're voting let me recap. The proposal here is that we add these live character counters that count up as a user enters information into free text fields. They would be added to any text in the online portal that has a total character count of 200 or more. So we want a vote on if we want to move that forward, or if there's any further discussion needed, we can continue that. But the question right now is, do we feel good with that proposal? Do we want to move it forward?
I vote, this is Judy Richards, that we move forward with the 250 characters. I feel like that's a very good amount.
Okay. I'm getting some votes in and they're all saying yes. And are we missing anybody? And what about the other Brandy?
George, Brandy Arthur's a state employee, so
Oh,
she wouldn't be a voting
sorry.
member.
I'm still trying to make a difference, or at least tell the difference. So everybody is saying yes. So I guess we're good.
All right, we'll take this one forward. We'll get it logged. And that wraps up the new work items that we had to discuss. So next up on the agenda was to talk about the charter. So let me get that shared here.
And while he's doing that, I've looked at the charter. So who else looked at the charter? Does anybody want to change anything? Maria, I saw you trying to say something.
Yes, George, I've looked at the charter.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we built some time in here to talk about the charter. And let me just to check on the where we're at on the agenda. It looks so we'd initially planned until 12:15. So we'll take the next 15 minutes to kind of review what's in the charter here. So any questions that come up, we can cover there. And the way I'm thinking of doing this is, you can see, I'll go through this a little bit slower, but you can see there's in red is what we've updated or added or removed from the charter. We'll review those points and go over any concerns that folks have about that. So we did have, I think, 2 subcommittee meetings. Maybe there was 3. I can tell you specifically in just a second.
There was 3.
There was 3. Okay, yeah. So March 2nd, 23rd, and 26th, we had subcommittee meetings where a number of us met together to talk about any changes needed to this charter. So we'll kind of go through those. So we've reworded this first authority section. This committee operates under the authority of Oregon Eligibility Partnership leadership and is sponsored by the OEP Deputy Director, Jillian Johnson. Our mission, the ONE Online Improvement Committee convenes community representatives to analyze and prioritize suggestions from various sources based on the number of individuals impacted, whether affected individuals have alternative resources, the severity of the request for change, and the feasibility and requirements necessary to implement the change. So with that one, we've kind of, itemize the information here in a more digestible list than this full paragraph that existed before. So the committee will consider suggestions via other groups and an external forum to ensure all changes made to ONE are equitable and informed. Changes to policy are outside the scope of the committee's authority. However, in the future, the scope can expand to include other aspects of the benefit recipient experience. And then just removing Oregon from this text here. So that was Article 1 and 2. Before I move on, any questions to what we've updated there?
Going.
So Article 3, membership. So the first edit we have here is under member expectations. Be respectful of fellow committee members. Challenge ideas and not people. So this was something the group was pretty passionate about when we talked about it. We want a healthy environment of debate here when required, but we want to make sure that we're, as it says here, challenging ideas and not people. Try to not make things personal. Try to not take things personal. We're all working here to try and collaborate and come up with the best solution that we can for these changes that we're trying to implement. So challenge ideas and not people. And then this section here, a new addition to the revocation of membership. So if a committee member is regularly disruptive or acts contrary to the mission or established community agreements, then the following steps are taken. First, official warning will be verbal, given by a co-chair. Second, official warning will be signed by the co-chairs and sent via email to the member in question. Continued disruption will result in a vote by membership to revoke their status. The result of the vote will be effective immediately and sent via email. Revocation of membership as described in a letter signed by the co-chairs. Any questions about Article 3? Okay. Article 4, roles and responsibilities. The following positions are elected by consensus of those attending and a simple majority vote of committee members as necessary. These votes are conducted annually, and for the open position, as the co-chair terms are staggered. Co-chair roles. Co-chairs shall be held by a consumer of the ONE system, and B, an employee of a community organization. These respective backgrounds serve to allow full representation from the community experience engaging in ONE. ODHS staff roles. So what we've added here are recruitment to ensure consistent representation from consumers and community organizations, and track and report progress on previous change submissions at each meeting. Both kind of things we've kind of always been doing, but weren't represented here in the charter. Terms of office, we've updated slightly to remove in the same position. So a co-chair may serve no more than 2 consecutive terms. Resignation of an officer was updated to resignation of a co-chair. Removal of an officer was updated to removal of a co-chair. It should be a co-chair, not an co-chair. A co-chair will be removed with cause with a 2/3 majority vote. Any questions or thoughts on Article 4? Okay. Article 5, meetings and decision making. So regular meetings of the members shall be held monthly at a time that allows the majority of the membership to attend, and platform designated by the co-chairs. ODHS staff shall set the schedule yearly in advance under direction of the co-chairs. Notice of meetings or events. Email notice of each meeting or event shall be given to each voting member not less than 2 working days prior to the meeting in order to prepare. So this, I think, pertains to the agenda and updates. We will make sure to get that to you at least 2 working days before the meeting occurs. Those, I think, were the last updates there. We didn't have any updates for Article 6. Any thoughts overall, things that we missed, things that should be added? Do we need further discussion on this, or are we good to take this forward as our updated charter?
Now, before we do, Andrew, I wanted to let everybody know that in the situation that we are in now, with 2 co-chairs, there hasn't been much of recruiting on the consumer side and stuff. So we took this all into consideration in these other meetings that when we were doing this. And we tried to make it as smooth as we could. Just to let you all know. So we need to take a vote on this. Who's in favor of this new charter?
I have one quick suggestion. If you scroll down a little bit, I saw the word Oregonians, and I would recommend we don't use the word Oregonians, but the needs of people who live in Oregon, because tribal members don't often refer to themselves as Oregonians, so it kind of excludes tribal members. So just hoping we can just change that language.
What is the language we should be using?
So just people who live in Oregon.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is give me just a minute. I'm looking for I know I have the Word document of this somewhere, but let me try and pull it up because this is a PDF that I can't edit. But I could make that change right now.
That is a good point, and we do need to bring them on board too. So Andrew, are you changing it?
Yep, I'm trying to get it pulled up. I had to find the email that James had sent with the Word document and all.
And Susan, to answer your question, if Jillian ever leaves her position, would we need to find a new sponsor? We probably would, but I think we have a lot of folks, a lot of options available. I mean, technically I could be the sponsor. We have a couple of folks who are highly invested in keeping this space alive and going. So I think it'll be an easy fill to find an additional sponsor if that ever comes to pass, which won't be for a very long time, fingers crossed.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, because that was a concern of mine.
Would we just update the charter? Yes. Susan, we would. And that's what we're doing now.
Sorry, what was it again? The needs of people in Oregon?
Yeah, I often see it as the needs of the people who live in Oregon, of the people who live in Oregon.
Jeez. All right. Can't type when people are watching.
We're not watching.
I don't know why this is. I'll clean this up in a minute. And then there was one other thing I saw down here, which was a typo. Okay. Any other thoughts that anyone had on this?
So I would suggest we vote on this now, and that we'd be done with this and not have to deal with it next meeting.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, Maria says aye. Cindy says aye. Ingia. Brandy, what about you? Brandy Arthur? Okay, Christie sustained. Okay, so we have one.
Yeah, and George, I'll just say in response to Christy's comment, if we need to take another, if we need to bring this back next month after folks have had a chance to read, this minus the two or three edits that we just made was shared in this month's agenda. If folks would feel more comfortable voting on it after having more time to read, we can certainly bring it back for a final vote next month.
So do you guys, are you guys wanting to agree to move it to the next meeting? Give you enough time to read it? Yes? Is that a yes?
George, I'm okay with the way it is now, so whatever.
I think the fact that we've had at least two committee members say that they would like more time with it, I think we need to allow more time.
Mhm.
Okay, how about, since we're having yes and some wanting to do next meeting, I guess what we'll do is we'll go one more meeting, let people look over it, and then we'll just make sure that it's done next meeting. Is that gonna be okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, George.
Okay. So with that being said, what's our next stuff on the agenda?
That is, get back to it real quick.
And Dion, please make sure that we get this on next meeting in May.
So yeah, that leaves us with our wrap up. We've got George and Azucena to talk about a couple things, introducing the Spanish OOIC, potential discussion about notices, and summarizing actions and decisions.
Right.
Okay, there was someone taking over Spanish.
That was me. Yeah. So quick heads up, friends. OOIC has been running now. Is it almost 2 years? We are going to start a Spanish advisory council, similar to the English OOIC, so this space. Similar idea behind it is we want community voice, community partners, and community members to help go over and review and make suggestions around the Spanish applicant portal. Basically, it is not any changes that we make to the English applicant portal doesn't automatically tie, it doesn't force us to make changes to the Spanish applicant portal. So it gives us an opportunity to really be able to review the Spanish applicant portal for Spanish speaking community members. We are just initiating that process right now. We're starting to reach out to a couple of community members this week to see if there are any interest. and we're hoping to kick that off sometime in the summer. So hopefully in the next 2 months, we'll have that group moving forward. So if anybody here works with Spanish-speaking community and would be interested in learning more about that, please let me know, because that is moving quickly as we establish that space as well. Any questions around that?
I would like to see Vanessa join with you as a team.
We would love to have Vanessa join as a team. And was anybody else going to talk about notices, or is that something that I should tackle?
Well, I had brought up the idea of notices because here lately, notices has been so confusing for people, and it needs to be more precise. It needs to be more readable, not so much difficult. That I'm hearing from other people. I don't know about other people on committees been hearing from problems having on notices. So we really need to, I feel, need to work on notices to agree or disagree on what's the best outcome to have consumers not have any problems when they're reading them.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that it's a very broad topic, and it's something that needs to be addressed. We have, one of my cohort mates, Lucas Belch, is interested in coming and talking with us and starting those conversations. He does essentially what I do. He's a senior business analyst, but his focus is all on our correspondence and notices. So he's really the expert when it comes to everything that we do in that realm. So our goal kind of to start this conversation is when Lucas is able to have him join in with us and start those discussions. He had asked for a little more time because he's particularly busy with some of the HR1 medical changes right now. And I know that that's something that we want to get folks' eyes on too when we're able, is some of the new notices and kind of heads up that we're giving folks around the changes coming with, all the different things that come with HR1. So like the Medicaid work requirements, the changes to the certification periods for medical, things like that. So.
And I know that James and I just spoke last Thursday to Lucas to talk more about what this could look like. And we had 2 kind of points of entry for this. So number one is we could just ask this group here, like, what are the notices that are the bigger pain points, and maybe start there, we could also, as new notices get updated, try to see how we can put OOIC reviews as part of that, like, notice updates process, right? So you can see those notices as they're getting updated, and we can have some of that community feedback there. So those are 2 things that we're bouncing around. And so as Lucas is able to join us, he'll be able to go over more about like what the possibility of either of those options are. But we are in discussion around what that could look like for the space, if that's something folks are interested in.
Any questions, guys? Okay. Now, to summarize the actions and decisions. I'm guessing, I'm seeing, you probably too as well, as we're getting less and less things to talk about. And I would want to work with all of you to see what we can do to bring in more new things. Like the issue of 125 and 100 and all those. I feel that if we all have time And I've been trying my best down here in Southern Oregon to try to get some ideas from people in state offices and stuff. I feel that we have a lot more to do. We have the opportunity to do it, to make this system better. And so on and so forth. What do you mean, Susan? Can you elaborate?
Oh, besides James, who would those forms go to that you do online?
Yeah, so we all of the stateside part of the committee have access to a smart sheet document that they all go to. I can even kind of show you what that looks like. It's not meant to be secret sauce or anything like that. So I can show you kind of what it looks like once something gets submitted there. And I think while we're talking about that, I really think that's it's designed to be, and I think is one of the best ways we can get recommendations. So I would encourage, particularly the community partners here, if you have coworkers or other partners that you work with, and you're hearing things from them that are good ideas or just ideas in general, I think encouraging and sharing that link that I put in the chat is a great place to get started. And there's no bad ideas. Sometimes we won't be able to take anything forward for one reason or another, but I think it's a good problem to have more ideas than we're able to work on, because then we can start getting through what are some of these that we can actually tackle and bring to the group and do something actionable with. So that'd be my recommendation, is just whenever able, and not just community partners, but I know it's probably easier when you're already working with a number of people in the system. But this is where it comes. It comes to a big spreadsheet here. This is the history of all of the different, and apologies for the quick scroll, but this is all of the different requests that we've ever gotten through OOIC. And on the left-hand side here, we update, what we've been able to do with it, if it was pushed forward as a change request or a work item, if we weren't able to do anything with it, if it was declined, something like that. So the new requests are the ones we haven't worked on, showed highlighted in purple. And so this is kind of what it looks like. So I don't think we've had a chance to review some of these more recent ones, and then some of these that you see highlighted are kind of in holding while we wait to see what we're able to do with them or get responses from the folks who submitted them. Yeah, I would just, anyone who's able, share that link and let folks know that we've got open ears and we really want to hear some ideas of how we can improve things.
And on that note, we do have this group. We do have this opportunity to change the system. Okay, we need to make it better for not just for us, but also for consumers. This is our opportunity to do this. Andrew, has there been any new things come in lately?
I see two that have come in just in the last week, one from the 7th and one from the 10th. I don't usually we'll review these together as a group during we've got like a staff planning meeting, and then a couple days later we meet with George and Maria. And so usually in the staff meeting, we'll kind of review these together, have some discussions on if it's something that can be taken forward to the OIC group, and then we'll come up with. That's when Veronica and I take it and come up with the briefing sheets, and then we'll bring it and present it to George and Maria as something to talk about with the group. And then it'll make it to our meeting after that. So like I said, these most two recent ones from the last week, we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. And like I said, some of the requests that come through aren't always appropriate for our group. They may be something that's more of an update to the worker side. They may be something too policy heavy that we really don't have, that's a little outside of the scope of what we do. So, all of that is taken into consideration, but it looks like we at least have a couple to talk about for our next meeting, hopefully.
Has there been any talk about updating your guys' phone system?
We're in a big process right now of changing our phone system to a new vendor. I am not super familiar on the details with that. Sam if she's able to join, might be able to give some updates on that when ready. I don't really know exactly where we're at in the process, but I know it's something that we're currently working on, and we know it's a big pain point.
Are you thinking about recruiting like 4 people to make it faster for consumers?
To be honest, George, I don't want to answer anything about it because it's something that I have not been involved in any way. So I think we should wait until we've got someone who's a little bit more familiar to answer any questions about that.
Okay. And group, just to let you know, nothing is off the table. If you have got something that you see need to be done on the system, let them know. You know, just let them know. We need to improve this. This is our opportunity. It's been handed to us. We have a really good group. So is that all on the agenda?
That's all we had. Yeah. So, it's I think a good stopping point unless anyone else has anything major that we need to discuss before we let everyone go. But thank you everyone for a productive meeting. And we'll see you next month.
And actually, Andrew, I just wanted to add one quick thing before we go, as we're already losing people. Sorry. Jillian Johnson, our sponsor, is slated to join us next month. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask or comments you'd like to have her consider, just think about those over the next month, and that way you can ask her when she joins us. Thanks.
Thanks, Dion. And I see Veronica, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, 2 quick things. I was just doing a little bit of sleuthing and looking into that function if users can remove an authorized representative. And what I found in the design documents is that individuals can remove them. So if I had a case and I had an AR, I could remove them. But as the AR, I cannot remove myself from being AR on somebody else's case. I don't yet have answers though, if that was like a policy decision or why it was implemented that way. But I wanted to confirm with the group, was that an ask? Is the group requesting to add that functionality to the system if policy says that it's something we can do?
Maria was going to say something. Oh. Yeah, I guess we can do that.
Okay, I'll come back or send back an answer for you guys for the next month meeting. The other thing I wanted to share real quick, because I just came across it in the testing environment while I was doing my other sleuthing. So did I share the screen or not? Sure. I think you guys can see it. Okay. So this change is going in the May build. It's currently scheduled for May 13th. We are changing the way that the sign-in screen looks like in AP. This is what it will look like as of the May system build. So we're going to do the reCAPTCHA first. So you would click to verify that, click the blue verify button. And after you've confirmed you're not a robot, then you'll get access to log into your account with your username or email address and password. And we still have the other option to create an account on this end. We did make this button quite a bit smaller because it used to be the biggest thing on the screen, and we were seeing a lot of people get to the screen and create new accounts instead of logging into existing accounts. So just wanted to make sure that you guys knew of that change that's coming soon.
Veronica, I will have to let you know that here lately, scammers, or not scammers, people that likes to get into information, they now have found out that with that CAPTCHA that you're presenting, it's now being changed to where it's getting an error message on websites and getting into people's places. They figured out and getting an error message.
Interesting. We'll keep an eye out for any bugs, any callers that call in with error message that they encounter on that screen. Excuse me.
That just came out yesterday. That they were starting to do that.
Okay, yeah, I'm losing my voice over here. I can connect with the tech team to keep an eye out for that. And if we do have callers call in saying that they are requesting or experiencing errors on that screen, we'll definitely jump into looking into that.
Okay, and Andrew, when does me and Maria come back in May, the first week? What date?
Let me tell you.
For the agenda building.
Sorry, my calendar is moving slow. It looks like it is May 5th.
Okay, Maria, I'll see you May 5th. And everybody be safe and please come up with ideas so we can continue with this. I will see you all in May's meeting. So all be safe. Talk to you later.
Thanks, George. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Adjourned.